Melbourne, Australia. Rajeev hopes to create some memorable speeches that leave the audience with an impact. Today, he's working on the project Vocal Variety and Body Language. It's a Pathways Level 1 project. Please welcome Rajeev Wadwha with Keep Smiling.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and think of a smiling face. Okay, now, could you please close your eyes and think of a smiling face? You may open your eyes now. Generally, when we see a smiling face, we tend to smile in response, and life feels better. The famous Joan Baez said, "You don't get to choose how you are going to die or when. You can only decide how you are going to live now." And I say, let's live creating smiles. Vince Scully said, as long as you keep smiling, as long as you live, keep smiling, because it brightens everybody's days. And Phyllis Diller, in a very interesting manner, said, a smile is a curve that sets everything straight. To me, smiles create a feeling of great connection, a feeling of hope and positivity, a feeling of peace, of diffused tensions. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, 35 years ago, I was waiting for the local train on a railway platform in Mumbai, in India. I was amongst a sea of people in hot, humid weather. Local trains in Mumbai didn't have sliding doors. They just had big openings. The overcrowded train arrived with people hanging out of the door opening. As the train came to standstill, all this crowd on the platform just compressed to 1/3 its size to allow people to disembark. And then we moved into the train, still pressed together, ready to fill in the empty spaces. I found myself between two tall guys. As we moved in, these guys just carried me along with them. The guy in front of me was standing at the edge of the table, holding the central rod like this. This was his position, the posture. And I was behind him. And then there was the other guy who's behind me, and he was holding onto the inside of the opening somehow, and his posture was even more curved. Only half of his foot was on the edge. My hands couldn't reach anywhere to hold on to anything. And I realized that my feet couldn't reach the compartment floor either. The train began to gather speed. I felt this was a Disney moment. I was free. I was floating. I was flying. I was the Superman flying to my office. How long would they be able to support my weight? Good question. At that point in time, an image appeared, smiling face of my cousin, Sonny. Tall, handsome, and ever smiling Sonny. Just in his early 20s, he could make anyone and everyone smile. His college was near our home and he visited us often. And then it brought back memory from 10 years from the train incident. My Sonny was waiting for a bus at the bus stop. The bus came, didn't stop. And he did what most of us would do. He chased the slow moving bus and jumped on board a moving bus through the doorless opening. Standing on the last step with half of his body hanging out. Normally, bus conductors don't object, but that day, the bus conductor was adamant. You must get out the bus immediately. And he pushed him back. Sonny fell back, hitting his head first on the road with a sickening thud. He died on the spot. He was the only child of his parents. We saw them grow old in front of us after his death. It definitely didn't take years. It didn't take months. It didn't even take few weeks. They grew old in just a few days, all in front of us. Meanwhile, back in the train, in my mind, I found smiling Sonny guiding me to catch hold of somebody's hands. Like these hands, they were holding the central rod. I held on to them and found somebody's foot to step on. A couple of people shouted, "Get off my foot!" And I smiled myself when I heard Sonny seemingly say, "Over my dead body." Don't worry, nobody realized who was standing on their foot. We were packed like sardines in a can. Nobody could see their or anybody's feet. I survived the day. Life is so uncertain. Sonny found himself in a normal situation that turned into disaster. And I almost did too. But the smiles he left with us have given me calm and confidence to wriggle out of many precarious situations. How would you feel if you realized that the smiles you wore helped somebody in their darkest hour, to help them overcome their desperation, despair, or depression? Ladies and gentlemen, Mother Teresa said, every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing. And I say, whether we are flying high or our feet are planted firmly on the ground, let's create smiles, spread smiles, and keep smiling. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajeev. Very good advice. We now know why Rajeev rules the roost. Rajeev, rotisserie chicken, Wadwha. Thank you. And now we have our facilitator, Gloria Darling, who's going to lead our round robin evaluations. Please welcome Gloria Darling.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. This evening, I'd call on Charlotte, Sue, Peter, and Maria Martinez. Would you like to participate as in our round robin evaluation? Maria? Oh, she's on mute.
I didn't
Okay,
take
each
note.
person. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say I didn't take notes, but I'll be happy to contribute.
Thank you. Each person will have 30 seconds timer, and we'll start with Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Gloria. Rajeev, that was a very interesting speech. You had a lot of different emotions in it. And I found that to be a little bit confusing to me. I don't know if I caught everything in all the transitions, but I love the idea of smiling and helping other people too. So that's my comments for tonight. Next.
Thank you, Charlotte. Sue?
Rajeev, I know the idea on this speech was body language, and I loved it. Everything you're pulling and pushing and holding, and the humor was really good. And I love that you had a Disney moment. I still can't stop laughing. The only thing I would say is watch where you're looking, because the way your glasses, sometimes we could see your computer, sometimes you could see us.
Thank you. Peter Barrett.
Yes, ma'am. Rajeev, I enjoyed your speech very much. What I really liked about it was the initial pacing that you gave us with the speech. You sounded very relaxed. You sounded almost like we were sitting chatting on a couch. So that part I really enjoyed. That said, you might try playing with that a little more through your speech. It might have helped clear up some of the confusions around emotions. So try playing a little more with the pacing, with the volume as you speak, just to convey the differing emotions. Otherwise, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay, and Maria, you're up.
Hello, Rajeev. First of all, it's great to meet you. I don't think I have met you before, nor had I had the pleasure of hearing you speak. So thank you for a great speech. I found myself enthralled. And like I said, I didn't take any notes. I had no time for wool gathering. I was truly just paying attention to the entire speech. And I found that you kept us engaged. I do agree with the previous evaluators from a point of the pace as well as the gestures. I was right there with you, and I love that. I would invite you to do even more of that, especially linking your gestures with the speech and your learning objectives for your project. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for round one of our round robin.